The effects of socioeconomic status on students' academic achievement in Sambuan National High School, Sambuan, Cebu. Socioeconomic status is the social standing or class of an individual or group. It is often measured as a combination of income, employment, occupation, and education. Education is a global complex access book, and those who do not read the entire content will only admire the cover page and will become victims of ignorance and poverty at the long run. Yet, no education is ever cheap, and poverty must not be a finite barrier to education. And academic performance must not suffer from no money syndrome. Furthermore, a person's educational attainment is closely linked to their life chances and well-being. Therefore, it is important for us to have a clear understanding of what benefits or hinders to one's educational attainment. This research is based on a study which intends to assess and explore the effects of socioeconomic status on students' academic achievement in Sambuan National High School, Sambuan, Cebu. Lastly, we should remember that anyone who stops learning were considered cowards to beat all the guts and impossibilities in life. We should study with deep motivation to show ourselves approved with better results. Now let us move on to the methods that we use in this research.
Methods. So in our research study, we choose the Sambuan National High School students to participate in this in order for us to know as to how their socioeconomic status affect their academic performance. So the descriptive study was conducted by using an online questionnaire via Google Forms as a tool for data collection and analysis about the effects of socioeconomic status to their academic performance. And it is consisted of 13 questions where the participants are the randomly selected students, 12 students of Sambuan National High School who are also interested to cooperate with us in our research study. So to collect the data, we will go through an online questionnaire and an in-depth interview method. So it is limited only for 12 students, and because of pandemic, it was done through an online questionnaire via Google Forms in response to the protocol of the government. So in order to see the general impact of the socio-economic status to students' academic performance, the correlational design was utilized because the variables were related to each other, the socioeconomic status of the students and their academic performance. So the questions are aimed at eliciting relevant information about their socioeconomic status, their personal information, and their academic performance. So the responses were analyzed critically to illustrate appropriate conclusions and interpretations. So the purpose of this study is to find out the effects of socioeconomic status towards the academic achievement of every student. So in order for us to find out the effects, yes, we use a descriptive method of action research, and the data gathered are from the 12 randomly selected students of Sambuan National High School, and their responses were analyzed critically by the researchers.
Okay, for figure 1 shows that people with lower socioeconomic status are more likely to have a lack of education, which is 15.4% in the color blue in our pie chart. Poor health has 7.7% in the color green in our pie chart, and unemployment has also 7.7% in the yellow color in our pie chart, and 69.2% in the orange color in our pie chart said that these three options put those from lower socioeconomic groups at greater risk. This is due to financial difficulties as well as lack of resources to cover educational expenses. So students' socioeconomic status influences their academic performance and risk of dropping out. So for figure 2, shows that respondents' family educational support, which is 38.9%, has a significant impact on their academic performance, and based on our data gathered, students responded that they work hard to get good grades but they don't have enough educational resources to support their education. So for figure 3 and 4 show that majority of respondents' family monthly income increased to 4,000 or higher, which is 30.8% in the orange color in our pie chart, earned by both fathers and mothers, which is 43.8% in the green color and the blue color in our pie chart, to support their families, while others had 2,000 below, and 3,000 to 4,000, which each received 23.1% in the color blue in our pie chart. And for figure 5, shows that the majority of respondents said they have 4 to 6 members in their household, which is 58.3% in the green color in our pie chart. So that's it for the result for figure 1 to figure 5.
So, good morning. With the continuation of Ruelen's discussion. So, number 6, what challenges did you encounter with your education? So, based on our survey, 53.8% most students have encountered lack of educational resources, which could be the hindrance of achieving the best performance in school. So this hindered their study and motivation to learn in a certain material, especially during this pandemic. So in figure 7, or in a question number 7, for this school year, what is your commonly average grades? So based on our survey, 50% of students got 80 to 85 average for this school year. So this is an indicator that most respondents are having good grades despite of their socioeconomic status. Okay, so number 8, who sponsored the cost of your education? So as shown in figure 8, 80% of students are sponsored by their family or parents, and 13.3% of students cater for their education, while 6.7% are depend on non-family members for their education. So this distribution implies that most students depend on their family or parents for their educational support. So in question number 9, what are the sources of income for your education? So as shown in figure 9, 73.3% most students depend on their parents or family for academic educational support. Okay, so number 10 question, what are the sources of income for your family or parents? Okay, so based on our survey, 75% of parents earn more income from their employment or salary, while 25% depend on their business or trade for their financial assistance. Okay, this is the survey for the part 1, and the part 2 will be discussed by Marian Lisondra.
Number 1 research questions on part 2. Think of a challenge that you encountered while you are studying. How did you overcome that challenge? Challenges are inevitable to every student, where most of the respondents encountered the lack of family income and support, lack of motivation, and the emotional impact brought by the pandemic where modular learning is being utilized. Despite of that, the respondents take this as a challenge and not as a hindrance to their studies. What they did to cope up with the situation is to keep moving forward with determination and maintain a positive attitude to achieve best grades. Is it important to have better socioeconomic status? What is the possible impact if you have better socioeconomic status? In this question, all of the respondents answered yes. This is because having a higher socioeconomic status makes every individual move and study way better and easier than those of low socioeconomic status. Students with higher socioeconomic status can afford the cost of their education, as it is hassle-free on the part of them. Did you experience having failing grades or a poor performance in school? Why or why not? Based on our survey, 50% of the respondents have experienced failing grades and poor performance in their school due to lack of financial support, which it affects to their focus and confidence in dealing with academic performances. While 50% of the respondents answered that they gain higher grades and good performance despite of their low socioeconomic status. They strive hard to have better grades and to make their parents proud of them. For them, having a low socioeconomic status is not a hindrance to have a best grades. Only if you have the willingness and self-motivation to study.
To wrap it up, the study evaluates or assesses the relationship between socioeconomic status and academic performance of secondary students. So we have selected 12 respondents from different grade levels studying in Sembuan National High School, and the survey questionnaires were used to collect data from respondents, and it's done through online. So since the pandemic is still ongoing, so we decided to have a survey through online and through sending Google Forms. There were mixed or random results from the study. The results of the study somewhat hinted that socioeconomic status of Sembuan National High School students could affect their learning process, motivation, and academic performance at the long run. Consequently, high socioeconomic status of families helps improve students' motivation, learning process, and hence better academic performance. So that is the advantage of a student having a high socioeconomic status. So, however, some respondents humbly contend that socioeconomic status is not an essential interpreter or predictor of better academic performance. So this suggests that the objectives of the study has been achieved with reference to the outcome of the study. The study concludes that through better or high socioeconomic status may improve students' performance, but for the responsible, hardworking, and dedicated ones, or the students who willingly did the work to achieve their goals in life, low socioeconomic status must not be an excuse for their poor performance.